One of our favorite parts of what we do at MarketPro as a marketing executive search firm is helping people move their career forward, right? And so we have an opportunity from one of our clients, and we're reaching out to candidates, and 95+% of the time, that candidate's not looking for a job when we call them. And so they're really not in a mode of understanding how to write a resume, understanding how to interview appropriately. And we run into instances where really smart people just kind of miss it on some very basic things. And I'll give you a couple examples we had this week and then give you opportunities to avoid that in your own job search process. So talking to a candidate this week, one of our senior members on our team sent me this gentleman's information. So I'm reviewing his LinkedIn profile. I'm reviewing the notes that she sent me over how he fit the role. And he was fantastic. I mean, a superstar for this EVP of marketing, head of marketing role we're working on. And so I'm super excited. Then I get the resume and I'm pretty stunned now by what I see. So he took the opportunity as a marketer to try to show off his creativity in the resume. And I ended up with a 2-page PDF that had logos of every place he's ever worked. And it was in about 3-point font. I've got my big 30-inch monitor in my office and my reading glasses on. I still couldn't read it. And it was his attempt to be creative and ultimately totally wasn't a resume, right? So it didn't resemble a resume. It didn't follow any format of a resume. And at the end of the day, it was just completely unusable from our perspective, right? So, but that's not that unusual in that we've got someone in this case who'd been in his current role, current position for over 10 years. And now he wants to show off in the process of what he can do next. So I just reached out to him. I said, hey, I just need to get a standard Microsoft Word formatted resume that is in chronological order. And if you could send that over my way, that'd be great. And you could see he was a little disappointed, right? A little discouraged. Hey, your resume was very creative, and he wanted to have the opportunity to show off his creativity. And it's funny because, the reality is that's not the way the process works. My kids play baseball, and my son had a great coach who used to tell him, the game's not going to change for you, kid, right? So you've got to work within the rules of the game to get better. And in this case, the rules of interviewing and the rules of getting a new opportunity aren't going to change for you as the candidate. There's certain processes you have to follow. And as a resume, having something that is in an MS Word format that is going to be easy to attach to an email that I'm ultimately going to send to someone in HR at some point along the way, and therefore it's going to get imported into an applicant tracking system, and that applicant tracking system is going to be able to search my resume, assuming it's in a Word format. And if this current opportunity is not the right one for me, maybe they call me down the road with a new opportunity. But if I send in a PDF, which may or may not be searched by the software, or if I send in something that doesn't resemble a resume, I'm limiting my opportunity, right? If I had sent his resume that was this very creative presentation of his skills, but was not in the proper format to the HR person at my client, they would have rejected him right away for the role just because he's so far out of process. So that's kind of one example of what we saw this week of very smart person, very talented person, very qualified individual, but interviewing is very different from other things we do in corporate America. So you've kind of got to follow certain steps in the process. Second thing we saw this week that was very interesting is we sent a candidate in for a role with one of our clients, good client. We've placed 4 or 5 people with them in the past, 3 or 4 years. And we send in this individual and she does great in the interview process. Her background is fantastic. And at the end, the HR person on their team says, really excited about taking you to the next step. Next step is to go through a series of tests, right? It's a personality profile. There's a Wonderlic test. These are basically assessments we want you to do to make sure you're the right fit for the culture and the right fit for the opportunity. And the reality is that's a fantastic thing for you as the candidate, right? It makes sure that you're finding the right culture. It shows you that they really care in making the right hire and the right fit. And it's another lens with which we can put over the process that says, through all the interviewing we've done and everything else, are we getting the right fit here? And we want to have the right fit because we want to have you happy in your new role and successful, right? And the reaction the candidate gave to the HR person was, I've got 20 years experience and I've got a track record of success. Why should I have to do a personality profile? And it surprised me when I got the feedback from the client. It also surprised the client that this was something that the candidate was concerned about. We have a culture here where we want teamwork, we want collaboration, we want people who are willing to do whatever it takes for the organization to be successful. And you're pushing back very, very hard on just some basic testing. And at the end, it was what had the client call us and say, we're not interested in her for the role. And the reality is those things work out for a reason. So she wasn't the right fit for the role. But why would you want to limit yourself from moving forward by refusing to do what is a very standard test? I mean, I would say at the level we work, which is director through CMO, specific to senior level marketing positions, 85% of the time, there's a testing component to the process.